I actually love seeing people progress and become better. So that's what my passion is.
Welcome to the My Posing Coach podcast. My name is Amy Fox and I'm here with my superstar client and most importantly, my good friend, Maria Tsakirios. How do you pronounce your name?
Exactly like that, Tsakirios.
Tsakirios. Yeah, do you know how many times I had to practice that before I actually said it? Thanks for coming in, Maria. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I've been really looking forward to this episode actually because, you and I haven't known each other for very long. I think we've only been prepping for 20 weeks? Have we been a part of each other's lives for 20 weeks, thereabouts?
Feels like 20 years.
Yeah, it does. I think it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we've got heaps to discuss today and obviously there's a lot of different places that we can start, but basically just tell me about what you've been up to recently.
Well, recently I had my competition debut about 4 weeks ago with the WBFF. I competed in the Transformation division. It was a wild ride. It was so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's get started at the very beginning. So obviously that was the highlight that we've had together recently. Yeah. But tell me about you as a child. Like, tell me about you growing up and how it came to be that you were going to be on the WBFF stage at 37 years old. So take me back to the very beginning.
Wow. Yeah, wow. Well, as a child, I was, very active, very much a tomboy. My mum would say that she'd have to, pick splinters out of my fingers and feet every night because I'd climbing fences and trees and always adventurous like that, always fit and up to mischief.
Did you play sport as a kid?
Yeah, I did. I danced and I played everything. I played lacrosse, I played soccer, netball, softball. I was,
everything.
Everything, yeah.
Do you grow up in Sydney?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Whereabouts in Sydney?
In the St. George area here.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So growing up, did you have a favourite athletic sport or?
I was a dancer.
Dancing was your thing?
Yeah,
yeah. And
absolutely.
It's funny actually because I've seen your daughter, Sia.
Yes.
And she's a champion dancer,
She's a national champion dancer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how old is she?
She's now 8, turning 9 in October.
9 in October?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a little firecracker actually. I saw her, I didn't realise that she was your daughter actually at the WBFF show. She was doing a little performance on the red carpet there.
Of course she was.
And I said to my friend, who's this little kid here? Look what she's doing. She's doing back bends and cartwheels and flips and all these things. And then I realised that she's yours. Yeah. She belongs to you.
Yeah, absolutely. She belongs to me. Yes, give her a red carpet and a few cameras and off she goes.
Yeah.
She's very good at improvising like that. Yeah.
I can definitely see her on the catching the bug from you and going on from there.
Absolutely. Well, I had to show her that, she gets it from her mum. She had no idea.
Yeah.
Everyone looks at her and I'm just like, oh, she's just like me. And so I just had to prove that.
Yeah.
Come back.
Yeah, no, she definitely gets it from you. And when I first met her as well, she's full of confidence, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But that's something that you weren't lacking either.
No.
So I can see you being exactly like her when you were a child.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So with Sia, did you get any confidence from her? Like seeing that confidence, did it remind you of you when you were a child thinking, you know what, that's me, I am a confident person? Because to me you seem that way. You're not the type of person that's shy or timid or intimidated. Did you find that you lost that and then you got it back?
Yeah, actually, because I didn't have to develop that in her or instill that in her, she was just born like that and always coped well with any situation, especially in the elite dancing world. She was always with the older kids, always, just fit in and, held her own and always was confident and never was intimidated or anything like that. And I was always so impressed with her in regards to that. And I thought, that was me, that's in me. Yeah. So it really reminded me of kind of where I used to be and how I'd kind of lost my way a little bit because, you put everybody else first and you do, you give, and then all of a sudden you're not living your life, you're living for other people.
So, Maria, tell me more about that. Like, did you find that you hit a certain age, like was it in your high school years that you sort of started to drop off a little bit? Or like what was the turning point where you found that you started to lose yourself?
I feel that about when I got married, my ex-husband had MS as well. And he actually just...
no one really knows that either. Yeah, so I hadn't touched on that yet. Yeah. But, you did. You had MS. Yeah. Or you do have MS.
I do have
you
MS.
Still have it.
Yes,
yeah, that's right.
But he had it too. And but he declined really rapidly and pretty much overnight. And so your life just gets, upheaved and shifted and everything changes. And you just, have to start looking after someone. And that becomes your life, looking after everyone else.
And so your ex-husband, this is Sia's father?
Yes.
Yeah, and what's the likelihood of like Sia developing MS? Like what was the risk?
Well, I did ask that question before we started trying for children, and it's not hereditary at all, right. Because I said that if it was hereditary or just, if there was a certain percentage that I wouldn't actually have a child because I didn't want that for my child. So when we got that information and we made an educated decision, it was a big, it's not a choice that we made lightly. And they just said that it was not hereditary. So, yeah. And we had...
Very lucky because I'm sure the odds, what are the odds of two parents having it in the first place, really?
Exactly.
Yeah. And when you said he declined quite rapidly, so what sort of signs and symptoms did you start to notice in him?
So he started to lose mobility in his lower limbs.
And he was quite active before?
He was in the army, right. Yes, and quite fit and strong. So diesel mechanic by trade, which he learnt in the military. So he was pretty much literally overnight. He started to, lose kind of some momentum, but it wasn't anything that really...
stood out initially. Yeah. And so it's kind of like it slowly creeps up on you? That sort of...
Everybody's different, and that's the hardest thing. You can't actually foresee anything. You can't judge what's going to happen on anybody else's, from anybody else's experience because everybody's different. But he just had a bit of an episode, and that was it from him. He remained paralysed, in a wheelchair.
Wow.
After that. So he's gone from pretty much normal, happy, healthy to in a wheelchair. And I've, Sia was little at that time, really little. So, and then that was, and then the life was, being a mother and a wife.
And a carer, basically.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. And you were living in Sydney at that time?
No, we were in Albury.
Albury, that's right. I remember you telling me about that,
we
actually.
Were in Albury. So that was, again, hard because I had no family.
And coming from a Greek family, it must have been hard.
I lost my village.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
your people.
Yeah, exactly. And over there we had no support network family-wise. And so that was a real experience there.
And do you think, and obviously personal question, but do you think that led to a total shift in your relationship in terms of
100%.
How you cope with each other, how you dealt with each other,
Absolutely.
Just how you related to each other?
100%. There's no doubt about it. It was just everything changes so that you adapt to the situation and all of that kind of stuff. And then you're dealing with not just a physical condition, but mental health. Yep. Declines and stuff as well because, he was then 30-something-year-old when it happened. It was very, not very, it wasn't, a good time for him mentally. And so, you've gone from fit, healthy, happy father of a young child to pretty much as dependent as that young child on your wife.
Yep.
yeah, so dealing with that, not only dealing with a physical disability, but also then trying to deal with mental health issues as well was,
Hard.
absolutely.
So what did that do to you? Like during that time, were you exercising, were you training and you gave it up? Or like what were you sort of going through with your head at that time?
Yeah, so I wasn't actually like training at the gym or doing anything like that, but we were active and we were out and about a lot. And in Albury, we do a lot of outdoorsy things, more so than like Sydney living like there. They'll go out to the weir and do their water skiing and just we're active. But we never, I wasn't actually at that time doing any, consistent workouts or anything like that or playing a sport. I was participating in like mixed basketball and different bits and pieces for fun.
Fun social sort of things that you do in smaller communities.
But then that all stopped as well, so that all just came to an end. So, and then, life become really busy. So cooking from scratch, healthy stuff, that just didn't happen anymore either.
Yeah, going for more convenience.
Absolutely.
Yep.
100%.
Time-saving things.
Yeah, but it's about, survival really.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're fed and happy, that's it.
Tick the box for the day.
Conserve my energy because I needed it for looking after, everybody else.
Yeah. So you found that during that time, like obviously, in terms of self-love or self-care, that became less and less. Like, did you find that is that part of the reason that triggered your MS to sort of kick in? Like, what was the turning factor for you? Was it stress levels or is it just your time? Like, how does it work?
So with me, I think it was years of lack of self-care, It was like abuse. Like I was abusing myself by not looking after myself.
Yeah.
There was nothing healthy that I was doing for myself.
Yeah.
And even like when I started to put on the weight and all of that kind of stuff, I took all the mirrors out of my house instead of doing something about it or trying to get more help or find what resources were available to me. I just ignored all of that and stuck my head in the sand pretty much because it was just easier to get rid of the mirrors in my house, and the only mirror was in the bathroom. So I actually never saw
your body progressing in a bad way.
And then even when I did, I didn't see what was reflected back at me.
Yeah.
Literally, I did not see that. It was almost like I understand now what the people with anorexia and stuff like that, they see someone bigger. I saw how I felt because I still felt okay. Like, I didn't realise, I didn't see that unless it was in a photo. That was always very confronting.
Yeah, when you actually saw a photo of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't actually recognise myself. I recognised my hair.
Oh, really?
Like, I didn't actually, I'm like, who is that? And I'm like, oh, that hair.
It's me.
And it was just like, it was very, very overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, goodness.
Which makes it worse, doesn't it? But
100%.
Marie, can you tell the listeners, like, what is MS? Like, what is it about MS that makes it so difficult for normal day-to-day living?
There's 3 different kinds of MS, and I have the relapsing remitting MS, and it's a neurological condition, and it affects the signals that your nerves send from your brains to your limbs or to all of that, or your body, to your body pretty much. And my neurologist actually explained it to me like a high-rise building, and all the lights are on, and then every now and again one will flick off. Whether it be to your eyesight or something, but eventually it comes back. But there's only so many times that light can be turned back on. So it depends how many times you have a decline that you can actually recover from that. And each and every time it's not
the same
not
thing
the
all
same.
the time.
You're not at your full capacity.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky throughout all of that. I didn't actually have too much of a decline myself. It was more just my physical body. That was my problem, my weight.
It sounds like a really terrifying, scary thing.
It actually is,
just
because
the prospect of not knowing.
You're a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
You don't know how you're going to wake up the next day, So, I didn't know. And then when all of my marriage breakup happened, my ex-husband actually ran away. We didn't even know. I was in Sydney with Sia travelling. She was doing a dancing competition and come home to no one there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and so that was, and when I had my attack about 3 months later.
And when you say attack, like
I woke
what did you
up,
experience?
and I couldn't swallow.
Oh,
Yeah. And usually it attacks my limbs.
Yeah.
Like my legs and my ability to move. But this time it attacked my throat, and I went to have some toast in the morning and I couldn't swallow it. And I thought, oh, that's not
strange.
right. I nearly choked. I'm like, oh, and I'm by myself with my daughter, and I'm like, I can't be choking on food because I can't, I don't want her put her through any stress or anything like what's happened to have to call an ambulance or to, whatever. So I thought,
what a weird sensation.
Yeah, it was just odd. But I didn't even think MS. Like I just thought not right.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'd never experienced it anywhere from my waist up before. And so I went in and straight away they said, you're having a relapse.
Little episode.
A little episode, and we'll just get you onto the steroids and all of that. I thought, oh, great, here we go. Because I had lost 10 kilos. And every time I do steroid treatment, I always put on like 15, 20 kilos. The 10 kilos that I've lost, am I going to come back on? Oh, that's what I was thinking.
Isn't this weird that you're now in the bodybuilding scene and circuit, and at the time, if you were in it, you would have been going, woohoo.
That's it. Oh, my God, if I knew how to use it. Far out. But I hadn't even, started the gym yet, but I had started eating better, and it was just coming off, and I just thought, oh, God, here we go. I've got to start again. But, yeah, so I went in there, and then from there on it just was just went haywire while I was in there. But the doctor said to me, because I had 3 new lesions on my brain, because it leaves lesions on your spinal cord and your brain, and that's the nerves that it affects. And he said, they've come on very quickly. It's trauma from shock.
No way.
And so it was like the shock that had happened to me 3 months earlier, it caught up with me then.
Yeah.
And that's when I realised you just got to let go of everything, because if you hold on to it, it's poison in your body and it makes you sick.
I saw a really fantastic, fantastic in the sense that it was really touching actually, a post that you made on Instagram, and it was with you. You're overweight, you're in hospital, and you made this massive long post.
I did.
About just how your mindset in that moment switched.
Yeah, absolutely. It was what had happened was people were saying, oh, you're going too hard with your new,
exercise
regime. And I got really cranky.
Yeah.
I said, I actually had a go, like I had a big thing on Facebook when that happened. I said, don't go attacking all the positive changes and things that I'm actually doing for myself now. Why don't you look back at what has just happened to me and blame that? Everyone, they're so quick to jump on all the positive things that you're doing and blame that, and they want to see you revert rather than push forward. And I'm like, no, this is a culmination of past events.
Do you find that's quite common though? 100%. Like a lot of people in your circle, like maybe when you got to that point, and a lot of people in your circle, although not directly toxic, had an indirect kind of toxic effect on your health, physical and mental?
Yeah. My circle got real small real quick because of just noticing little things like that, and the fact that I decided, no, that wasn't good enough. But
how do you go about cutting people out of this circle? Because so many people listening, that they know that there's certain people in their either immediate friends and family circle that are, not good for them, and they find it extremely difficult to cut them out, or distance themselves. How did you do that?
It actually wasn't. It was not hard for me at all, because it was my health or not offending anyone. And it was a no-brainer for me. Like I had just actually literally turned that corner and was someone that was standing up, taking a stand for my own life, for the quality of my life. And I wanted to add value to other people's lives, and I wanted the people in my life to add value to my life as well. So I wanted it to be a two-way street, and if it wasn't, then I'm sorry.
See you later.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
You may have been in my life for 20 years, or you might be family, but if you're toxic, if you're not happy to see me succeed, then sorry, I'm not having you in my life. Doesn't mean we have to have a falling out or a disagreement. You know, people think that it has to be messy. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You just have to continue doing what you're doing, and people just fade away anyway.
Yeah.
If you stop making that effort, or, you know, you find that they do actually fade away into the background.
That's it. And if you pursue something that they're maybe not in agreement with, you might kind of subtly push them back as well.
100%.
Yeah.
You know, trust takes itself out, so to speak.
Yeah, that's it.
You just got to choose you.
And what about your, like, what would you say the lowest point was? Like with the MS, what was the absolute lowest point, the worst thing that happened with all of that?
It was that last episode where it went just from, you know, it just went haywire in my body and I was paralysed.
So you were in a wheelchair?
I was in a wheelchair, and I was told that I wasn't going to come back from this episode because the lesions on my brain were that big, and that I would maybe get better and like be able to wait there so that I can transfer better and all of that kind of stuff.
So are we talking about no movement in the legs or the arms?
No movement in the legs. My arms were still fairly good, which was, you know, a saving grace kind of thing.
Thank goodness, yeah.
But still very weak, but I still had all the you know, mobility in the fingers and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was just told that, I would just have to learn to pretty much live with it and deal with it. It was, you know, the nature of the beast, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
were you going through rehab? Like, were you?
Yeah, so I was in there for about 3 months that time round, and which was really hard because you have a daughter, I have a daughter, and I was really fortunate that I was actually homeschooling Sarah at the time because she was in an elite dance program. We were travelling to and from Melbourne to take her to participate in these programs and all of that. And so I decided that year that I would homeschool her because, you know, that way she was able to actually take up these opportunities and do all of that because she really wanted it.
Yeah.
So I was, I actually had to send her to my mum in Sydney, and we organised a tutor and stuff to do her homeschooling and stuff there. But that was my daughter. She just copes with life really well. So she was fine. You know, she had her yaya. She was being spoiled. She didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, but it was really difficult for me. But I had to go through this and come out the other side. And yeah, that was the worst time for me because I didn't even tell anybody, not even my mum, the extent of how bad it really was for me.
Because it's your personality. You don't like to bother other people.
No, because I didn't want her to get, because, you know, everybody's got their stuff, you know,
their own
that they're dealing with, and they're busy and all of that kind of stuff. So as long as Sia was dealt with, I was going to deal with everything else.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even tell anyone because I didn't want anyone to worry because there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
So, and then the doctor just said that, and my brain just went, who do you think you are telling me that this is as good as it's going to get for me?
See, I think that's quite unbelievable where most people would, and that's the spark that I've always seen in you, is that you've got this underlying self-belief that not many people have. And I've seen girls that are incredibly fit, incredibly successful with the worst self-confidence issues known to mankind, and you're the opposite.
I see that too. I've noticed that with all these girls that are, you know, and you just
Insta famous and
you know, you're talking to them,
first place getters,
and you're complimenting them, and they're like dismissing it, and I'm just like, why? Don't do that. Just take it, and you know. But I've always known, even from young, I've always had this feeling within me that I'm destined for something really big, and to contribute.
You just gave me
something.
goosebumps.
So, or just always have believed it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, it's my time now. I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to find what that is. And I'm just going with what feels right and what feels good for once.
Do you feel like that's competing, or do you just feel like this is a stepping stone into something bigger and better?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I really feel like before I stepped out onto that stage at WBFF, the thing I said to myself just before I took my first step was, you've been waiting for this moment your whole life. Mm-hmm. It's yours. This is your moment that you've dreamt of, that you've waited for. Do it. You know, you're in the mirror with your hairbrush singing and stuff like that, imagining kind of a crowd like that when you're young and whatever. This was it.
Yeah.
That was that moment that I'd always wanted. So, you know, it kind of all just, that was the beginning of something
The
new.
nicest thing I actually saw that day was Bugsy. You said that Bugsy was and that's your grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there watching.
Absolutely. And what we had to go through to get him a ticket, mate, it was...
Because the tickets had sold out weeks
Yes.
in advance,
Yes.
didn't they?
And everybody bought tickets, but everyone just assumed that everyone else was getting Bugsy's ticket.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, did you get Bugsy's ticket? Like, no, didn't you get it? You know.
So what did you do to actually get him through the door? Did you sneak him in?
No, we won one the night before from the All For Me that makes the bikinis and costumes. We're doing a giveaway, and
That's meant to be.
Yeah, I
If he
won
his
two
ticket.
tickets.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So we got him in. So yeah, but he was the first person that I actually ever told or asked his opinion of competing.
What was his initial reaction when you said
Because-
that? Did he understand that you'd be
I
on
said
stage
to-
in a bikini?
Yeah, I said to him,
Doing your back pose, your booty shot.
I said to him, because he calls it body lifting.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah, that's
instead of
good.
bodybuilding, body lifting. And I said, oh, Bugs, I want to do a body lifting competition. And do you think I can do it? And he's like, of course you can. You can do whatever you want. I said, but do you know what a body lifting competition is? And he's like, yeah. And he does his like double bicep shot. And he's like, I know. I might be old, but I know. And I said, do you think I can do it? He goes, if anyone can do it, it's you. And I just thought, oh, that was just all I needed to hear. And
Support.
That kind of
Maria,
ignited
what was your weight when you had that conversation? Do you remember what you were weighing then?
I think I was weighing about 93 kilos.
Yeah, when you first had that conversation.
Yeah, it was about 93 kilos at that time.
And what was your heaviest? Was it during the time of the MS episode? Like when was the time where you...
Yeah, so I had, like I said, I'd already lost about 10 kilos. I actually don't know what I got up to. I stopped weighing myself at 120 kilos because I didn't
How tall are you?
163 centimetres.
Yeah, you're the same height as me. Yeah. I remember now, exactly the same.
Yeah, so I stopped weighing myself because I didn't want to know how big I actually got. So
what sort of feelings did you, like when you're, 120 kilos, do you feel anger? Do you feel sadness? Do you feel...
I felt disappointed that I had let myself get that big because, like I said, I felt like I abused myself. Like I apologized to myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like I'm sorry, you know. So it's like you step outside of yourself and you're just like, that's not who you are.
Yeah.
You know. So
and what would you say to other people that are sort of going through the same kind of battle where things are just feeling out of control and they're putting on more and more weight? Like, how do they snap out of it?
I just and you know what, I get contacted all the time on Instagram.
I know you do,
all of that kind of stuff. I get contacted all the time. Just be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
And by being kind to yourself means making that time for yourself. Means fueling your body right. You know, people think being kind to yourself means go and get your nails done. Yeah, that's all of that self-love too. But the first and foremost, be kind to, if you're drinking from an empty cup, how are you supposed to fill other people's cups, your family and whatever? You come first. You need to be kind to yourself. And a lot of people say that's the best answer they've ever had because they'll ask other people and they go, oh, get a good diet, this, that, the other. No, that all comes under the umbrella of self-love. And, you know,
it's very difficult to stick to a diet if you're not feeling
100%
happy though, isn't it?
That's right. And everyone just needlessly complicates a diet. You know, I found that
What do you mean?
Like when you're at that stage, you don't care about macros. You don't care about any of that stuff. That's not important. You know, it's about, you know, like to me, it was just being in a deficit, just understanding that.
Yep.
And then I wasn't actually eating the right foods and stuff, but I was sticking to the simple
deficit.
rules of, you know, a healthy deficit, and it just started to happen. And then later on, because you want to eat more because you're more active and things are happening, whatever, you start to make better choices yourself. So because you want more calories, which like you want more meals for your calories.
Yeah.
So you actually start to educate yourself and learn to make better choices yourself because, you know, but when people are just, oh, you got to have this much protein, this much this, it
becomes overwhelming.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So if you just stick to something simple, like a simple rule, the rest falls into place. You know, like I said, I did it myself. I didn't make it complicated. I let it, you know, just if I followed those simple rules, I got a Fitbit.
Did you? Yeah.
And I was loading all my food and stuff into there and keeping an eye on that, and it was showing me, you know, my calories and all.
And you're learning as you go.
I educated myself with my Fitbit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And so were you exercising at this point, like, or were you just changing your food?
I just started at that just before that attack, and that's why people are going, oh, you've just started going to the gym and this is what happens. You need to take care of yourself. I'm like, that's what going to the gym was. It's taking care of myself. So
it's funny that you kind of just started before your body absolutely crumbled as well.
That's exactly right.
Big wake up call.
So I thought, oh God, you know, and I'm thinking, thank God I did lose that 10 kilos. Maybe it'll make my recovery easier. Just even that 10 kilos off your body.
Yeah.
But everybody was kind of having a dig at the fact that I was going too hard, and I'm just like, oh my God, don't you
find that people say if they haven't really been to the gym or haven't really exercised, it is an unknown and it can be seen as being incredibly extreme and incredibly over the top and self-indulgent, or what's the word I'm looking for, vain.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of a healthy outlet.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't understand that it was therapy, that it was an outlet for me to
take back that control.
Yeah, that stress relief, and to feel like I was in control of myself again.
So you were in a wheelchair, but what sort of movements were you doing?
So I actually would go to the gym with my old lady wheelie walker, and I would and I've got photos of it with my personal trainer Ben at that time.
Yeah.
And God, we went through heaps. He was just such a, because he was so, we could joke and we could laugh, and you know me,
just what you needed at that time.
I'm with you 100%. You become my family. You're not my PT. You're not my friend. And if you can't become my family, I can't be with you.
Yeah. You've always said that. I remember you said that from the very beginning. I think the first couple of times we sent messages to each other, you said, "Okay, now we're family."
Yeah, that's it. Now that's it.
This is the way it is, and I'm thinking, right,
you're stuck with me forever now. Yeah. And so it's like that. You know, you become my village. You know,
yeah.
But and we would just do upper stuff. I still wanted to do the weights. I still wanted to do what I could do to and even with the cardio, with the hand bike thing, you know, whatever I could do.
You did.
I did.
Found a way around it.
I still went. I still showed up for myself every day.
Maria, you were talking about a girl or a friend of yours called Megan.
Yeah.
Tell me about Megan.
Oh, Megan. She is an angel that walks this earth. She's my daughter's dance teacher, and she, from the day everything changed, even from before that we had a beautiful relationship, but from the day that everything changed and we got home, I actually called her and I said to her, I was talking to her about Sia actually. I said, I don't know what's going on right now, and I'm not sure if I can pay you to continue Sia's private lessons, this, program, that, the other. And she was just like, are you kidding me? Are we even having this conversation? And she's like, we're family. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And so she's like, don't worry about any of that. And so she continued to tutor Sia, you know, regardless of whether I could pay her or not. And then I just started like going to the gym and all that. She goes, I want to join too. So I'm going to.
Oh, really?
So once all that, you know, initial momentum, you know, disappears, because it does. It goes and, you know, it gets cold or whatever.
That's right. You never have the same motivation every day.
We had a standing appointment every day at the gym. And even if I didn't want to go, I went for Megan.
Yeah.
When I needed her, she was there, and it was like I wasn't going to let Megan down.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what. If Megan was there, I was there too. And I feel like I never would have gained the momentum that I gained, the excitement, seeing the changes that I saw that fueled that, that excitement without her. Yeah. So, and the photos, the videos, we made it fun. She would do my PT sessions with me. We then started with those videos and all of that kind of stuff. And it was just, it was I look back on it so fondly.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So
you've actually developed a really fantastic network of people around you at the gym, on social media.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. I've actually, what I've get, and I always say in my posts, they're my trophies. Like, I don't need to, I'm going to win everything, don't get me wrong, but I don't need to. I've already won. I've already won. Like, look at who I have, like, behind me that support me, push me, and are always there, happy to, work out with me or in any way, shape or form. I've actually gained a tribe.
Yeah.
They're my tribe. They're my talent tribe, So, I'm so blessed.
Did you, because you've got a new partner now?
Yeah.
John?
Yes.
How long have you been together with John?
About a year and a half now.
So did he have anything to do with your decision to compete, or is this kind of like fate where John's an ex-competitor himself?
Yes.
And he's done NABBA, he's done IFBB shows. You actually sent me a posing routine of John on stage in 93. So he was competing and he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was sensational.
He
so
was
did you take
amazing.
Inspiration from him, or is this kind of like law of attraction type stuff where
I don't know?
You've just found him?
You know what? He knows that you can't tell me I can't do something. And I really feel like when I first had that idea, I had that conversation with my grandfather and all of that kind of stuff, and I turned to John. I hadn't even expressed my, interest in any of that. And I said to him, I want to compete. And he's like, and I know that he was
thinking,
it was like,
oh, really?
Like, he's like, he goes, oh, it's pretty intense. It's not, just easy.
It's not a walk in the park.
And I said, yeah, I know that. And he's like, well, he goes, oh, I don't actually think you can do it. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to offend you. I'm just being honest. I don't think you've got it in you.
Yeah.
And he knew exactly what he was doing, to fire me up. I'm like, I beg your pardon. I'll show you. Like, it was very much no, I'll show you.
Because John's a personal trainer.
Yes,
and he's been a personal trainer for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
As he said, since Jesus walked this earth,
Yeah.
since then, he just lives and breathes all of this. And so he's actually been instrumental in me learning to train independently. I would go everywhere I went, like, because I travelled with a dancing competition, and everywhere I went, I would go and from people that I admired on Instagram, I'd go and have a training session with them, different PTs. I wanted to learn different styles.
Don't you think that's the best way to learn, though? Like,
absolutely.
I used to do exactly the same thing.
I did, but then I noticed that I wasn't really learning taking it all in regards to putting a session together myself.
So you're becoming reliant on other people.
Exactly. And he said to me, he's like, no more personal trainers, none of that. If you want to compete, you need to learn to train by yourself.
And Maria, I've seen videos of you recently.
Yeah.
Pushing us. I don't even know who films you now. Have you got a tripod?
No,
because
I've got a magnet. Everything at the gym's metal, so I can just stick it all different things.
But I've seen you training by yourself, and you're an animal.
Oh.
Like, you push hard. But I find this a lot with the Greek girls. The Greek girls push. They've got a fire in their belly, and they don't give up. So
yeah, no, he that was really instrumental in all of that. Like, he taught me. It teaches me a lot of things. And
like
then
technique or just how to train body parts? Like, what was he doing?
So form he's really big on good form and injury prevention, but also on how to push yourself, how to actually go hard.
Yeah, because a lot of people feel that burn in the muscle and it makes them quit, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly.
And it takes practice to switch off mentally at that burn point and think, keep going.
You like
keep going until the muscle actually fails.
For me to like, he's taught me like when you get to that point, that's when you just start. That's it.
Yeah.
You need to get there first, and then that's where your progress is made. In that, 2 or 3 reps after you think you can't do anymore.
It's amazing what you can do when you feel like you can't do anymore, isn't it?
Crazy.
And that's motivating in itself. You get to this point where you feel like, right, that's it. I can't possibly do one more rep.
And then you're just hyped to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, oh my God, bring it on. Like, no.
The animal comes out and
absolutely.
then you can't stop.
That's a very big lesson. Like, so I'm always grateful to him in regards to that. Like, because he's just like, I don't, want to take credit for that. I want you to do your own. And you know what? Thank God he did that, because, as you know, he had the heart attack.
I know. During your prep?
Yes.
So during the most stressful
just before I
time.
started my prep, actually, he had a heart attack. And so he couldn't train me because he was out of action.
That's right.
And then he had to go in for the triple bypass. So I had to actually train myself independently.
Yeah.
And so
I remember, Maria, you were at hospital with him and you sent me a panic message saying, what can I eat? I've been in hospital, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, what the hell has happened?
Yeah.
I've just had this protein bar and it's not on my diet and there's nothing else to eat here. And I'm thinking, oh, my goodness. Then I found out that it was John, and the poor guy had this heart attack, and it was all extremely serious, life-threatening.
Yep.
And all you were worried about really, of course you were worried about John, but you were worried about stuffing up your diet.
He was being taken care of. I had to look after me. Like, I had integrity is everything. I've said it from the beginning, and I gave my word to this. So I was just like, I don't,
You weren't prepared for it. You didn't have your meals ready for this heart attack.
No, well, they were ready, but they were in the fridge at home. I didn't know I was going to the hospital.
That's right, yeah.
But I was just like, oh my God, what choice can I make here? And I was just
and you made a good choice.
That's it. I made the choice to text and annoy my coach and say, help me.
I actually grabbed my phone and I showed my fiance Justin and I said, can you believe this? The poor girl, like, she's at hospital. The boyfriend's having a triple heart bypass, whatever, and the only thing she's cheated on is a protein bar, and he goes, wow, like, wow,
that was it.
She's hardcore. She's good.
I was determined.
Yeah, that's when I knew just exactly how determined you were, because everyone else would have fallen off the face of the earth, crumbled big time and made a very poor choice. So that was quite eye-opening for me.
It actually wasn't even something that actually... it didn't even pass my mind. It didn't even, cross my mind that go and have something and it's all right. You'll fix it later.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't undoing anything bad.
So tell me, what's your favourite thing to train? What do you enjoy training the most?
I think legs and back.
They're my favourites.
I love legs and back.
Yeah, they feel good, don't they?
And I find that anything that's making progress that I'm seeing changes in becomes my favourite then.
Yes.
Like now all of a sudden I love shoulders because my shoulders are starting to look really nice and I'm just like, right.
It's my new favourite muscle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I can totally relate to that. Legs used to be my absolute favourite thing to train, and then something else starts to progress and look better and you think, no, that's my new favourite thing. But no, I definitely love back. Back makes you feel good, and back is so important for your posture as well.
Exactly.
So improving your posture just gives this enhanced feeling of confidence too.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It actually does. Your posture actually sets the tone for how you feel, and definitely back is great.
Let's get back to the WBFF, so your actual prep. Like, what actually went into that prep that you weren't expecting?
I wasn't expecting anything because I actually didn't know what to expect. Like, I knew I wanted to compete. I knew you had to prep and I knew it was a diet, but I actually didn't know what a comp prep was. And that's the key, I think, to everything that I do is if you look into it so much, you talk yourself out of it.
Yep.
You know, I saw everyone prepping and I would go and support my friends that I'd made in the gym and all that kind of stuff, and I'd watch them through their preps, but I didn't actually know what a prep was, what it meant to prep, and which was the best thing that I could have done. Like the best favour I've done for myself is
Would you say that was the easiest thing about the prep, like not really having expectations and not really being
100%.
or anticipating?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just I just took it as it came, and I actually didn't find it hard.
I was about to say, what was the hardest thing you found about the prep?
I didn't.
Was it the diet?
No.
Yeah, because I never heard you whinging about the diet, whereas most people really struggle with the diet. They find it
I actually
absolutely
went through that prep. Like I
horrendous.
promised myself 100% integrity, and I kept saying that to you.
Yeah.
And I actually went through that prep with 100% integrity. Like I didn't actually do anything silly. Like just did it. And everyone at the gym, that helped too. Like being part of Gold's, you know, the Gold's family. Every time
Gold's in Miranda.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time you walk in there, they're, you know, oh, how long now? And all of that kind of stuff. It just really amps you up, and all that encouragement every day, you know, that
it's funny, Maria, because sometimes that throws people. Like it's really weird where people pull their motivation from, because sometimes when people are saying, how long, it puts a lot of pressure on people and they crumble. No. Whereas you were using that as fuel.
100%. Like, you know, it was like they were counting down with me, you know, and
they wanted to see you succeed.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing.
And it was just like, oh, you know, I can't let anyone else down. Like I actually used that as my, oh no, you know, can't let them down, you know, can't do any of this. And I just, I
remember going into the gym like very late every now and then for a workout with Justin, and you'd be there.
Yeah, that's
you were always there.
I was
doing extra.
I was spying on you.
You were on there, but your training buddy, I didn't realise, but that's your godson.
Yeah, my godson. He's my nephew. He's only 14, just turned 14, and he, you know, like very tall boy.
He is, yeah,
and a very big boy, and he is a very solid boy, and he just.
So what
we've
made
been close
you guys
always? And
what made you guys go to the gym together? Like, was it you dragging him along, or did he say?
Anything I do, Michael tends to want to do as well. Like,
does he?
And because even from when he was young, I used to take him everywhere I went, whether it be to a football game back then, or if I went on family holiday, I'd always take Michael with me.
Yeah.
And so he's always just been with me, and I was losing weight, and he really wanted to lose weight, and so
he looks like a muscly kid. He is a big kid though.
He's a very solid boy. So that's the thing. He's got that beastiness about him, but he's actually it's not actually like he's not actually like muscular in a way. Like he's a big boy, like
solid,
you know, solid boy.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to improve on his physique and I think as well his confidence within himself and all of that. And he saw the changes in me and
motivated him.
He said, "Oh, can I come with you?" And so we asked Nathan at Gold's, Miranda, and, you know, if this was something that we could do. And he was just amazing because he took Michael under his wing and, you know, with diets and things like that were healthy for him and his age and his development and all of that kind of stuff. He was just brilliant and really, really sparked Michael's interest in physical activity and things like that because he's a very creative kid.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was good. And then every time I'd go at night,
he was with you. He was always your little training buddy.
Always.
Or big training buddy.
Yeah, or my photographer.
Yeah. Yeah, I always saw you guys together and I thought that was so nice. Like,
it's lovely. Like, it's just beautiful because I want, you know, you want the best for your family.
That's right.
And being so young, I wanted him to get into good habits now, you know, because I saw he was, you know, making poor choices and the easy choices and all of that kind of stuff. So I was hoping that we could, be a fit family. So,
rub off on each other.
100%, yeah.
So, Marie, tell me about the stage day, the day that you actually hopped on stage for the very first time with the WBFF.
So much fun. So much fun. It was pretty much everything I wanted it to be. So, I actually remember just being actually really I'd come down with like a cold, a really runny nose.
You were so sick the week out.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
Thinking,
Yeah,
this is typical. I can't believe it.
All I could think was, oh no, if I blow my nose, I'm going to wreck my makeup.
Yeah.
So I just had made
I'll
like,
just get on stage with a snotty nose. Who cares?
I actually put 2 kind of wads of tissue up my nose and was walking around with 2 wads of tissues hanging out of my nose because I couldn't keep blowing it.
And this is, I have to tell everyone, this is the WBFF, the most glamorous of glamour.
Yeah, so I'm
where there's
walking
red
around
carpet
with
everywhere.
pretty much 2 tampons of tissue hanging out my nose. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, what I had to do. But nothing was going to take away from that day for me.
So that day you had a bikini round and you also had a dress round or a formal wear. It was formal wear, wasn't it?
An evening wear round. So, yeah, it was the bikini division, like, was in the morning, and that was the first one. And I just remember being backstage with all these divas and, you know, they call them divas. I'm not saying they're not divas.
They're not painful.
Yeah.
They're
no.
actually,
and, you know,
bikini
all
divas.
these pros and all of that and not even thinking for a second that I didn't actually belong.
Mm-hmm.
I did not even for 1 second thought that I wasn't meant to be there like that. I didn't fit. Like, I just mentally, I was just like, yeah, I'm one of you. So, and I remember actually being on the phone to you, texting you all, I think from about 4 o'clock in the morning I was texting you because, you know, I just do that, don't I? In the middle of the night, thinking, I hope she has her phone on silent. I'm constantly.
No, bloody Maria. No, I didn't mind actually.
I would, texting you and I just, I was so relaxed. I was in such a
You were. I couldn't believe it.
I was chill.
It's very rare.
Yeah, it was chill. Like
I think I was more stressed out than what you were.
Everyone's freaking out and running around and you were just like, just find a spot. Sit in that spot.
What did I tell you?
Just to
What did I
put
tell
your
you
feet
that?
up or something.
You're not going to be on for ages.
That's
They
it.
always run late and then all of a sudden you're on and
That's
I'm
it.
like, shit. What
I'm
is
like,
it?
where even are you? I'm going to tell them to stop the show until you get there. Yeah,
And I've never seen anyone on stage with so much confidence. Like, I know you said you had a little bit of nerves, but they were good nerves, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think at one point I was lucky we had a false start.
False start,
because
yeah.
they said, all right, transformation people, get in, you know, you get in your line or whatever, you're up next. And we went, what? Up next? And so we were in the line. And
You were texting me.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm about to go on. Like, you know, I'm freaking out. And then
I said to Justin, she's about to go on, like, drive faster.
hurry up, Justin.
Get
Far
there.
out. It was nearly going to be, you were the one that was going to cop it.
Yeah. I couldn't have missed it. No way.
Yeah, no.
Here's the walkout.
I know, like I wasn't even meant to do that, but you know, whatever.
You added it in.
I did.
That's what I thought. Like there was a few bits of the choreography because we'd
That's
obviously practiced the choreography together, and I thought, oh, that's new. That's a bit extra.
That's right. I was actually saying to myself, I'm like, I'm going to actually
Smash it.
I actually just went rogue. Actually,
Yeah.
I thought whatever happens.
I thought she's not going to
happens.
leave the stage.
Actually, you're lucky that there was someone coming out after me. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I just did my thing and didn't really care. I just wanted to enjoy my time up there.
Do you know what was really nice about the Transformation division though is that all of the girls from this division actually gave it everything. Like you notice they all came out of their shell. Like no one was particularly nervous looking or petrified. I think everyone had the same mindset as you because they'd all overcome something and they all just went for it.
Yeah, we
You
did.
saw more nerves in the open divisions, I
Yeah.
thought.
In the false round, like the false, I actually thought my knees were going to come out, like give way because my knees started shaking.
Yeah.
And so all the adrenaline come up and then they said, oh, no, you've got to do it. But thank God for that because by the time the second time come around, I didn't have that energy. I didn't have that
pump.
pump. And I was just like, yeah, this is it. This is your time. I had that pep talk with myself. You've been waiting for this moment your whole life. Go out there and just do it, you know, have your moment.
Oh, it was pretty cool. It was fantastic to watch
it
as
was
well.
so much fun. Like, oh my God, and I'm looking at them like, who do you think you are?
The winner. You thought you were the winner.
I did actually.
We all thought you were the winner.
I know.
And all the other girls that came out, they were all thinking the same thing. So it was a cool division to
I think
watch.
I declared victory for that competition. The day I started my prep, I said, I'm going to win this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just cool.
It was
It
very
was really cool, and I was really proud of you.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. It truly does. You know, look at my butt. It looks so good.
Your butt looked fantastic. And on that note, Maria, thank you very much for joining me
Thank
on
you
my
so
Posing
much.
Coach podcast. It's actually been, a total blast, and I'm really looking forward to the next stage with you. We've got a lot of big plans coming up. And
We don't
I
do
can't
things
wait to
by
get you
halves.
back on.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and thank you for everything that you've done for me. And I love you, and you're my family.
I love you too. So if you're looking at more information for anything comp prep related in terms of posing, diet, training, nutrition, anything, contact me via the myposingcoach.com website.